What's happening, guys? How we doing?
Shite.
Nah, average.
Kev, we said no swearing. First word.
Damn it. I should have told you this actually before we pressed play. Because you ruined it the last time.
No, I was trying my hardest. Not me.
Oh, I don't know.
Me.
The both of yous.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. We're live in the Big Brother house. Please do not swear. And all that sorts.
No bother, Davina. Right.
Talking about
Aye, Corbett's still in jail, basically. That's where he is. So, no, we didn't even get a chance to write to him this week, so no statements. Tried to get a voice note of him, but he must have got a phone because he's in the comments on the YouTube below, so you can chat to him there. But aye, how are we doing, Ando?
I'm alright, been a bit ill this week, but I'm getting much better now. I don't really know what to say. I'm in a bit of a general malaise about everything just now. In terms of football, that is. Outside of football and Hearts, everything's rosy. Couldn't be better. But I'm starting to hit my wit's end with this nonsense now. If I'm being brutally honest.
That's maybe why you're ill.
Maybe,
just allergic to Hearts. Like.
Hearts are giving me the lurgy.
Absolutely. Kev, what about yourself?
if you were giving it a rating out of 10, I am currently round about 4. And Hearts have brought me down by at least 6. So, yep, exactly as Ando says. Everything out with is fine. All dandy. However, football has made my life a misery.
You need a hobby, mate. You need to get back in the golf course or something. I don't know. Like.
Well, no one's asked you yet, Tam. How are you, Tam?
I was going to say.
Are you okay? Are you well?
Mate, I'm alright. Although, I don't know if you've seen it at the weekend. Sam North was at the game, Footy Adventures on YouTube. If you go about 7 minutes in there, he's done me a belter, just me storming it right in front of him. So, that was good.
Okay, so is it this... right, time to get...
It was as the fourth goal went in. Obviously, I take my dad who's in a wheelchair, and my dad got fucking whiplash because I pushed him that quickly out there. I was just
sorry. I misheard you. I thought you said 7 minutes.
Aye.
I
thought you had left.
Oh, no. 7 minutes into the video, apologies.
Right, okay, understood. Excuse
there
me.
we go. But yeah, that got sent about work chats and everything this week, so it's been great. So,
I mean, don't get me wrong, but on review, you should have probably left after 7 minutes.
To be honest, after 4 when we lost the first, as usual.
How?
100%.
Let's just be brutally honest here, Kev. How long did you last? At Tynecastle on Sunday, this is.
So
still get that Newman sponsorship anytime, eh? Right.
55th minute, I think it was. Whenever they scored their third goal, that was me. I was out of there.
Cool.
Hard goal, fair. I got a glimmer of hope with the penalty, and then my dad had turned around to me and said, "Let's just go." As Shankland first shot was saved, so we stayed for a wee bit longer, but that was about it.
Well, I never made it. I had a night out on the Friday, a night out on the Saturday. I tried my very best to drive to Tynecastle, but the car thought better of it and pretty much autopiloted me home for a nice Sunday lunch, rather than taking that absolute dross. So you done better than I did.
And all accounts.
Well no, you done better than both of us put together.
Beef or Sunday roast chicken?
That was a roast beef, mate. Roast beef.
Nice.
Right, anyway.
Nice.
Let's move on. Let's not talk about it. Oh, do we have to? Actually, can we just cancel this now? I can't be bothered. I'm just going to get triggered.
That's what it takes.
It's yeah. Obviously, we were nice and positive the last podcast we done.
Are you sure?
Then 2 weeks to prepare for this one. Like our team had 2 weeks to prepare for the game, and it's just going to be as negative as our performance was on Sunday. So, obviously we're live on YouTube today. So get your comments in. I sounded like such a gimp there, but get your questions in. We'll try to go through as many as possible. Ando's going to look after that. But welcome back to This Is My Story. We'll kick it off, obviously, with headlines. other than us being shite, anything you want to talk about? Great to see a certain friendly this morning, a young keeper, up and coming keeper coming through for the under 18s. Craig Gordon doing 90 minutes. That's good.
Yeah. Getting your star goalkeeper back is always good, right? It's not. There's no negative story in there at all. So I think gloss over that. Thumbs up. Sooner he's back, the better. But that is just sort of one tick in a positive box when there are so many ticks in the negative box.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Did we speak about it last time when we said he was coming back full training? But Kev, does he come straight in for you? Does he have to earn it? How do you think we'll play that one out?
Yeah, you know perfectly well he's not going to come straight in. Every one of us here will probably think he should come straight in all honesty, which is worrying. Do you know what I mean? It's worrying that you look at it and you think you've got a guy 40 years of age who's coming back from a probably one of the worst injuries he could have, and off the back of that, he's straight into the team. I don't expect to see that, I must admit. I genuinely would think that Clark keeps his position for the next 2-3 games, but you lose the next 2-3 games, and I know we'll talk about it. You lose the next 2-3 games, there's a certain somebody will be hung out to dry for it, and he will be, I expect, sacked. And I hope he takes it. I hope the club are big enough to take everybody with him and send them all away, because it's an absolute shambles what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, but it's harsh on Clark, but Craig Gordon's Craig Gordon. He goes straight in. It's legend at the club, captain, best keeper in Scotland.
No. J-Mac on YouTube agrees with you exactly. Gordon walks back in as long as he's fit for me. Absolutely agree. Ryan Frater also asking, think getting Gordon back as a voice is as much of an advantage as his goalkeeping ability, surely.
I agree, 100%. To be honest, the way our defence is, we need somebody to actually lead that a bit better. But I know Kent shouts, you can hear about games, but other than that, there's not many leaders that are prepared to actually take it by themselves to try and get a performance out of the rest of the players at the minute, is there?
Yeah. And I don't know, like, Shanklin's a captain just now, isn't he? So, like, I don't know. Like, is he doing something in the dressing room and on the training pitch that gives you well, obviously we won't know, but he must be doing something to give the impression that he's a leader. Because, like, on the pitch, I'll be honest, you look at captains of other clubs and the way they handle themselves, the way they get involved and all that sort of stuff, I just don't see that from them. Again, not the kind of thing you're always paying attention to or looking out for, but it's the kind of thing, if it was happening, you would notice it. And to be honest, I've not seen it happening as much as it probably should from a captain. From any regular player, fine, he makes his contribution, but not to captaincy standards for me. So,
See, I weirdly disagree. I think since he's taken it on, he's tried to do more, which inevitably has affected maybe his game this season. So taking that away from him, hope it would. You know what? It'd be nice if he just got played in the right position to begin with, but that would be a start.
I'll bow down to your expertise on the subject then, because as I say, I'm not saying that he doesn't do it. I'm just saying that I haven't seen it and I haven't paid attention to it. It's probably as much as anything else. So if he is doing it, then fair play. I'll stand corrected.
I think there's another element about it as well that I know that Corbett, he's not here today, but he always has said it, that a goalkeeper is probably not the right person to have as captain. It should be somebody maybe in the midfield or somebody at centre half, for example. And I think something that's also maybe being glossed over a little bit is Halkett coming back into training as well. I know he's been in and around. I was surprised he never actually got 45 minutes today. But I don't know if there's any form of regulation that you can't actually play X amount of players over the age of 23, I think is the limit. So maybe that has something to do with years. I don't know, but you've got to look at that as possibly a positive, and all we can do at the moment is look for positives.
Yeah, he's another though, straight in, Ando.
Yeah. However, I don't know why. think I might have touched a button on this. My voice went all Dalek-y. We'll wait for someone on the YouTube to be able to tell me. Someone else want to ask that, actually.
No, we can hear you all right. And you didn't go Dalek-y to us, so maybe it was just on your own audio, buddy.
No,
Can anyone in the chat confirm Ando's audio is alright and up and running good, please? That'd be great. And we'll wait. But Kev, does how can it come straight back in?
That's an interesting one, really. I think if he's given enough time to actually get himself back to match fitness, there's a definitely argument for him to go back into the team. But then if you do that, I think that then puts you into a position where you've got to play a back three. And we've been trying to play back three all season virtually, and we have not yet nailed it. You know, we're 11 league games into the season. Is that right? 10 league games into the season?
Yeah, 10 played, I think. Yep.
10 years. 2 teams to play still.
10 games in, and, you know, from that point, the whole back three hasn't worked. So if you're going to bring Halkett in, you've got to come in and say Kent can't get dropped. Let's be honest, Kent's probably been player of the season so far. I think there's many people that would argue that is maybe the case. There's not many people ahead of him if he's not Kent. But then you've got Rowles. Well, Rowles is left side of that defence. That's not Halkett's position. So you effectively have to go to a back three in that situation. And then from that situation, as I say, we've not nailed back threes at all. So what's the option? Where's the movement going to happen? And then this, again, we could then argue, well, where's the recruitment? You know, it seems to be an awful lot of things happening at this moment in time that make you question things that are going on at a higher level than just on the park.
Yeah, I'm not. To be honest, it's not even against the back three. It's just with the current setup, I don't think we'll do it right. That's it.
Well, there you go. It's one of those ones that if you can say, okay, a back three is great, but you're going to then have adequate wing backs that are able to get up and down each wing, and at the team that doesn't seem to be what we've got. It's not Sibic's position, that's for sure. Ofaya, well, we've not seen enough of him to say that he is or he isn't. Cochrane. I think Cochrane as a wing back is fine if he just stays on that wing. He wants to try and get himself involved in so much, but he also sees that we have got so many spaces in that back three that he feels that he's got to, where necessary, slip in to actually support, and that just moves everybody around. We're now all over the place and have no structure. And why do we not have any structure? Well, we don't have any structure from the point of view that we don't actually have a proper coaching and management team in place that can actually coach and manage these guys into how to play a back three with wing backs.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I agree. Where were we even talking about? Craig Gordon, have we got it already? So we've got it. And that's a podcast. Cheers. No, you're spot on. Quite right. It's just, we'll see how it goes. I think, personally, I don't see how it's going to go in the next few weeks. I could see your Gordon and Halkett coming in for the semi, just for what it is. But as usual with Hearts, I think there'll be something that goes wrong, and it'll be too early a step, and somebody will get injured or something like that. But that's just being a Hearts fan.
I can't see Halkett coming in for the semi-final. He comes in for the semi-final, then the whole thing has just gone to absolute shot.
Yeah, as if it's not already. But aye. Any more comments, Ando, before we move on to Sunday's game?
A couple of bits. Ryan Frater again wouldn't argue against Kent being player of the season. However, we are in October, and there's a lot of games to cover between now and the end of the season. But player of the season so far, yeah, fair enough to Kev's point. I think you're probably right. Kevin Wilson wouldn't argue at Kent being the captain. So, and this, I need to check my own knowledge here. Do we have him in loan, or do we own him?
No, he's ours.
He's a purchase, right? Okay, that's fine. Some comments in here, just about formation and whatnot. David McClure, going back to something we spoke about earlier on, saying, disagree lads, Big Xander hasn't done much wrong, and realistically, how long can Craig continue to be playing? We've got bigger problems than our keeper. Completely agree, and we'll cover that.
Absolutely, yep.
We'll cover that in more time. And the only other thing, Davey again saying, we will revert back to Robbie's 3-4-3, just probably touching on your point about formation, Kevin. But and also Scott Lister just saying it's 2-0 to Aberdeen. So there you go. That's something to brighten up your Thursday night.
PAOK are a top team, aren't they?
What's that?
And PAOK are a top team, and we should have accepted going out against them. No.
I think that was the rhetoric. Aye,
Yeah.
they're a lot better than us, and they have a much bigger budget. And so when they scalped us, it was bound to happen. Aye. No, that's it for now.
And right, cool. Well, have we even got a quiz? You want to draw this out a bit longer, or
No, we don't have any quiz.
No, we don't. Cool.
Putting a quiz in it would mean.
Do you want to read an excerpt of one of your books behind, so we don't need to talk about the game?
Which one, mate? There's a fair selection there, so I should chat into the microphone like a big boy. Yeah, there are quite a few there, but there's some thrillers. In fact, you know what? There are some thrillers and mysteries in there, so any book that's been written about Hearts just now, definitely a mystery, certainly not a fucking thriller. See what I've done there? Highbrow comedy, folks, highbrow comedy. Nah, there's no point in having a quiz or doing anything light-hearted or jovial. It's just not going to be one of them, is it?
Nah.
I'm a little bit upset that Corbett's secretary couldn't get his press release done in time for this episode. It was a great shame. I think Corbett will be releasing a statement, I think, at some stage. And if you want to get that as an audio file, here we go, professional boys.
Oh wow!
Head over to WhatsApp and join the community that we've got set up there. So if you've got a mobile phone with WhatsApp on it, head over. You'll find the link at the top of our Twitter. It'll also be in the description for this show once it's. Oh God, I've said show. For this episode, once it gets published, head on over there. There's well over 100 folk in it now, and it is just unadulterated Hearts chat. So far more, I suppose, let's say closer to the bone than it would be the curated stuff that has to go up on Twitter. No one's going to get pissed off and try and chuck you out of the group. So come along, say what you really think, and get involved. And it's probably the only place that you'll actually get unfiltered Corbett going forward. So, as I say, check out the show notes and our socials for the link. But come across and get involved.
You get filtered Kev though, because he censors out the word fuck or whatever. Damn it, I done it again. And I just said damn.
Mate, it doesn't matter,
okay.
Right? Well, right. We've completely fucked this one. This one isn't getting monetized, so it's fine. Just go ahead and say what you like. Just nothing.
We've lost out on another Fredo there.
Exactly. There's another 36 pence that could have went in the coffers to keep the lights on here at This Is My Story Towers, but never mind.
Imagine that's how much a Fredo probably is these days. I'm putting this off even longer, but 36 p probably right with inflation.
I don't know. So. I genuinely don't know. I'm an adult. I don't buy Fredos.
Aye.
Oh, shut up, Kev.
Yeah.
Was it Corbett always says to you in the group chat, grow up. Grow up. I've had enough of you.
Grow up.
Aye, he does. Don't kid on like you don't cry a little bit every time he says it, because I think it's amazing. Well, a wee bit of an in-joke, but aye, come across to the WhatsApp community, folk. That's what I'm talking about. Anywho, right. Back to you. Right.
Ando, I know you were driving at this point, so we'll start pre-match. So I'll stay away from you for this question. But although you probably had the teams on the radios and stuff, so I'll get both of your thoughts. But for me, first of all, I thought the team was fine. But the issue is, I didn't know what was then we were going to see on the pitch and where they were playing. But what about you? Happy enough with the team that's the team that started the Hibs game basically, except Kingsley for Cochrane?
So,
that was the team, wasn't it? It was only the only change was Cochrane in for Kingsley. In my own personal outlook, I was concerned, given that I don't think we've seen enough from Neuhoff to actually merit him starting in such a game, because you need to be putting tackles in, and I've not really seen him actually have that sort of presence within teams yet. If I'm being truthfully honest, that was my only concern. And I think, and looking back on it now, yeah, I think Haring would have been a better option in there, just to give a bit more sort of steel, if we can say that, to that midfield. And I thought that showed in the game. We just didn't have anything in the midfield that were able to put their foot in the ball or actually even put an actual tackle in.
He was proper rabbit in the headlights that full first half. He was out of his depth completely. Like I don't know if he was just in awe of the Celtic players or what, but I did want to bring that up. I don't want to write him off too soon because he has been actually all right the games leading up to this. But yeah.
So
what were you saying, Lando?
Well, I question the logic of playing more or less what was the same team that surrendered a 2-0 lead against Hibs. So Toby Simic, I think we can all agree, is at fault for, and well, Benny as well, is at fault for both the goals. So why is he playing? Open question. Why? Why is that acceptable?
To be honest, I think the issue here is we've just not got a right back. We're missing Atkinson, so we're playing.
But it doesn't matter. It's already square pegs round holes anyway. So, you can't. There needs to be consequences to actions, and having a massive fuck up like that against Hibs when you're 2-0 up and arguably cruising and throwing the game away like that. Nah, sorry, you're on the bench. Just that's it. I always say don't change a winning team, and I stand by that. But we didn't win. And it feels like a defeat. So the people that are culpable for that, I'm sorry, they're getting the axe. Just the way it is for me.
I actually agree with that logic completely, but yeah, I think I can't disagree with you.
Okay.
To be honest, Andrew,
that was my thoughts. I think you're listening to it on the radio and just going, right, okay. Like I already knew we were on for a hiding as we spoke about, but then you've got labelled the point enough.
No, as I say, I was happy with the team, but then it's the setup that comes. So the game kicks off. You're seeing, we spoke about it last week. Alex Lowry was playing out wide left. Why? He clearly cannot play that position. He's good in number 10. He's fine, but out wide, he's just not the answer. And then you've got Shanklin in the 10. Vargas playing as a striker. None of the players look like they know what they're doing, where they're going. Not a single player want to get the foot in the ball. And as usual, we lose a goal within the first 5 minutes.
Well, if you're doing something that's kind of square pegs round holes, and probably not the right way to describe it, but if you're doing something that's maybe a little bit of a change, like you're playing Shanklin in the 10, putting Vargas up front. When has that happened before?
So it happened.
Like the Basin. Yeah.
Okay, it happened at St Mirren, right? Fine. Did it work then?
Nope. No. Terrible.
Cool. So what you do is you employ that tactic again when the best team in the league, there's no fuck about here, the best team in the league comes a calling and think that's going to work. No. Players aren't used to it. The fact that it's only happened, as you've mentioned already, one other time before, they're going to be out of practice, out of rhythm, then they're in the wrong positions when a team that can exploit weakness, because that's what Celtic do, come calling and absolutely bum you. Probably not the best turn of phrase, but you get absolutely roasted. That is naivety. It's stupid.
Yep. There's another element here, right? That's perfectly fine if you want to play that way. If you'd actually used the 10 days, 12 days, whatever it was between matches, maybe even actually 14 days between matches, out with those people who went away on international duty to actually instill that particular formation. Not the case.
It takes a long time. Well, I say a long time. Like, even if you were playing that consistently, like in between, like how do I put it? They're no computers. They can't just be programmed, right? So they know. Well, okay, yeah, they can over time, but to try and play something that was a little bit unorthodox to them, given in mind that it has only been tried once before, then who in the right mind thinks that's gonna work? It's stupid. You're leaving yourself open to hiding, and that proved to be the case.
Yeah.
Again, naivety.
It's one of those things we've always said that we always criticised Robbie about as well, but changing the game for the Old Firm, like at the best of times, we're the way the budgets are, everything like that. We're gonna get a draw against Celtic. Put it that way, like that would be good for us at this stage because we've not beat the Old Firm, and somebody could probably tell me, but I think it's up to like 20 games or something. Either of them.
It's a long time.
Yeah. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, like, if we go in and play our actual game, get the crowd behind us quite quickly, that's the only way we can do it. But we try to change it again, and yet again, we're caught watching shadows. Don't get me wrong, the first goal, when you look at it back, I was absolutely raging at the time because I was like, this is the first 5 minutes again. But it's a great goal, pass, finish, but we're just not tight enough to the players again. Taking a step off them, no near them, nobody's pressing the ball before the pass is made. It just leads to these stupid things, and it's always starting these games slowly. Always.
Why do we have that particular sort of mindset in that we don't stick tight to players? So that's the first question.
What? You tell me. Is that just? It must be coached, surely. Surely, it has to be. I don't know the answer out with that, but we can't have went through 2 managers now and it would still be uncoached. Surely, we can all see it.
Mate, that's we've called it out before. That's the worrying thing. If it's a coaching ability, then who is the coach? Why?
Less said about that right now.
And it's that element. It's that element of why did that particular coach not get taken away at the same time as everybody else? You know, and that from that point of view, the second question then, off the back of that, is if it's a case that those particular players are they don't want to get caught out because of sheer pace of an individual, then you should be working on that side of your game. You know, you gave the boy, is it O'Reilly? Is that right?
Yeah,
Matt O'Reilly.
They gave him so much space, you know, for the ball to come in. And yes, you're right, Tom. When you watch it back, it's a great goal. The way the guy takes it, puts it away. If it was the other way around, you'd be talking about, being a great goal. The fact it's against you, you hate it.
So,
if you'd been touch tight to him, you wouldn't have had the space to actually turn and hit it anyway.
yeah, you're right. And O'Reilly was brilliant, but again, the full game we were just never near him. So yeah. Aye, right. Where do we go now? I did want to also mention, I had written down here Neuenhoff, just he was way off it, but I also thought Lowry was, I don't know if it was because he's a Rangers player or what, but players not being able to do the basic minimum stuff, just there's nothing more frustrating. Like, can't pass a ball, can't control a ball.
You can say on Sunday, mate. There was not a great deal. I mean, I wasn't in the ground, as I said earlier on. I left after 50 whatever minutes. Who got man of the match from a Hearts point of view? Because
Couldn't tell you, man.
A difficult discussion to have.
No idea.
Shankland because he got a goal. There you go.
Probably what it is, and if that's the case, then that's a bit shambles, really.
Yeah.
On the chat.
There you go. There's something to cry out as a positive. It was a good finish for Shankland. Matters not a jot in the grand scheme of things, but it's a goal. We'll take it. And
you notice how it happened when he moved into the striker position, Wando?
Oh, real surprising that. Rendered me shocked. Fucking hell. Maybe a striker scores a goal when he's in the striker's position. What? Well, revolutionary. Go and somebody write that down on a bit of paper and send it to the offices at Tynecastle, please. For the attention of that muppet Naismith. Anyway.
Yeah. Aye. But to be fair, he kind of got his range just for that first shot, which pulled off the Joe Hart save, didn't it?
Oh.
Aye, we've still got the second half to talk about still, but second goal, again,
I'm not going to kid you on, Tam.
Errors, isn't
I
it?
haven't seen the second half. Indeed, as I was saying to Kev before you joined, when we were in the green room, that I drove back down the road on Sunday, got there in time to see the teams coming out the tunnel, went and made myself a sandwich, came out with a 1-0 down, turned it off after that, knew what was coming. So I've seen pretty much nothing of it.
Well, we got to half-time. Nice big boo at half-time, but straight away after half-time, do we want to talk about that refereeing decision? The fact that it didn't go to VAR? The penalty?
Go to VAR.
Like it went to VAR in the sense that they checked it, like they check all decisions, but it didn't. I mean, and the ref didn't go to the screen.
Okay, they didn't ask him to actually have a look at it himself, because there wasn't a glaring mistake. Effectively, is what that comes down.
So,
okay.
if he's not been asked to look at it at the screen, then I suppose
they've agreed with the decision.
The cadence of the whole thing exactly is that the referees made the decision. They've ran the tapes and said, "Yeah, we back you." Otherwise, there's no point.
Yeah, that's shocking in itself, and it's not just that decision on Sunday. There's been a number of other decisions. The one against Livy a couple of weeks ago, Livy versus Motherwell, shocking. VAR was brought in, and I know we've had enough discussions about VAR over the last what is only a year now, surprisingly. With VAR in the league. So we've had these discussions before about it. You would think we would get to a position now where we would actually trust that the decision that's going to be made using VAR is the right decision. But quite clearly it is not. And that stems, from my point of view, that stems from a big problem at the whole organisation. It's as simple as that.
But, right, and again, we love a devil's advocate here, right? It's... If you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. It's as simple as that,
100%,
right? So see in England, referees are professional. They've got a whole organisational structure around them. They're not, RE teachers or bin men or whatever. Any other job in their day, for their day job. It needs to be made professional. That way there can be a proper rigour and responsibility around it, because guess what? If you're crap at your job, if any one of us was crap at our job, we'd get our jotters, we'd be at the door, right? There's no accountability for referees. It's the refereeing argument is one that will roll on until the end of time, but Scottish football is too poor to afford professional referees. That's basically an end of it. So we'll have to put up with what we've got. We've got VAR in place, but ultimately, I don't think the rules, you're supposed to call it the laws of the game just now, don't really help with some of the decisions. Like the handball rule just now is an absolute nonsense, but we can talk about that when we're struggling for material in the summer. But I do agree with your point that refereeing in Scotland and VAR in general in Scotland is absolutely terrible, but it's a known vector. It's something that we have to continue to put up with. It's not going to fix or change anytime soon.
Put it this way, it's mad when that FUD, Chris Sutton, didn't think it's a penalty. To Celtic.
Pardon me.
Like,
fair.
I nearly killed you there. Right?
Aye, well.
But,
still getting
it's I seen obviously the Sky bit on Twitter about him, and he was going on about how it's never won and never a penalty, which is just mental that Chris Sutton doesn't want a Celtic decision to go their way. So yeah, but second half, do we want to talk about much else? I thought we were actually a lot better. You probably didn't see this, Kev, but once Benny and Boyce came on, I thought we actually looked a lot more fluid. Yeah. Might be the fact that Celtic were 3-1 up at that point. Yeah.
I went back and watched it mainly to see Shanklin's goal. To be truthfully honest with you, I think what you do find, I think there was within the space of a couple of minutes, was it Lowry and Neunoff went off, and Oda and Benny came on.
Yep.
I think that was your change, and then we made the change, which was Vargas went off for Boyce. Is that right?
That's it. Yeah.
And you did see a bit more You've seen a wee bit more bite around us. You've seen a little bit more movement around us, and that then asks questions of why you weren't getting that movement earlier on in the game. Yes, I agree. There's an element of Celtic probably take their foot off the gas. They probably looked at it. By that point anyway, they were 3-0 up. You've got the situation of them playing Madrid last night. You might be thinking, let's take 10% off, keep our energy levels for what is a fairly massive game. But even then, you didn't really think, and this is only going by the last half hour of highlights, didn't really think we actually put a glove on them. I think we really challenged them. Yes, we got a goal, but we never really. You never seen us actually making a great deal of runs or passes or being creative. And I've been calling out for a creative player. Yes, there's a chance that Lowry is a creative player. You can't just put everything on a 20-year-old.
Yeah, agreed. And to be honest, it says a lot when Boyce came on that, like, they need to try and make it work that Boyce and Shankland play in the same team. I don't know how you do it, but I think with they two on, they're very similar, but they're a constant threat and they work well together. I think going forward, we need to have that. But then it's who goes around them for me. But I think those two starting their technically are both best players.
Again, if that, and I don't disagree with that idea and of the two of them in the same team. But again, if you've got a good coaching team behind them, good coaches, good management, get the best out of players.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that can be said about it. You spoke about it earlier on, Ando, and we probably don't even know if Robson's actually a great manager, but he must have a good team round about him to get those Aberdeen players playing as well as they do. We beat Aberdeen, remember? We beat Aberdeen 2-0. So what is it? There must be something. Is it the way in which we set them up?
But we're just
is it
lucky,
a mind?
man.
We're just lucky. Well, you could be right, actually.
They were actually shocking that day, to be fair, but they were.
So you would think then if they were shocking that day, what's happened is, and Ando is an advocate for this, I know, because he talks about it enough times, is those guys probably came into that changing room after that game, and Aberdeen went, as a coaching and management team, went through them like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Pussyfoot around too many times. That's how I see it, because it's the same mistakes that are getting made week in, week out.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. And well, I think we're done with this game. And the next thing I had to talk about is where do we go from here? What does that look like? Because
Sunday, mate.
Well, we're not. I don't even want to talk about that just yet. But
So
I don't even want to talk about that in general. But
probably a good segue.
Where's the change coming from?
Well, this is it. So where and then when, right? So I think you look at what the next 3 games: Rangers at Ibrox, Livingston at home, I think, yeah, and then Rangers at Hampden. Right. Realistically, can you see us winning any of them? Like,
nope.
Ibrox on Sunday will be an absolute devastation. We will get a draw against Livy on Wednesday, because it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday night. The weather will no doubt be crap. Livy are a scrappy team. We struggle to beat them at the best of times, and we're on a downward spiral just now, aren't we? So that's it. We're going to get a draw or worse against Livy, and then we roll into the semi-final against Rangers. Then again, that will be another turnover. We've never beaten Rangers at all ever at Hampden in our history. So do you see anything there that gives you a sign that that's going to change? Rangers have just got the new manager in. They got fair enough. You know what? A point away for him. Sparta Prague, difficult place to go. I didn't watch the game, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Getting a draw away for him in Europe, for them in the shambles they've been in recently, that's the start of a recovery. they're going to get into full swing against us on Sunday, and they'll continue to build momentum. It will be an absolute devastation when it comes to the semi-final. And again, that's all doom and gloom, but I'll stick with me because I've got an end result, which is Naismith will still be in charge even if we get heavily beaten off Rangers twice and draw or lose to Livy. He will not be sent packing. Right? So, in answer to your question, the change isn't going to come anytime soon, which means for me that it is Naismith's fault, right? But the fault is with the club and the board of directors for not taking decisive action when things are going bad. So for me, the change needs to... Sacking the manager is just one avenue to go down. You sack another manager in... sack a manager, you get another manager in, cut from the same cloth as Levine, inevitably, as we've spoken about in previous episodes. The change needs to happen higher up now, for me. That's just an end of it. But that's a difficult thing to enact and to make happen.
Yep, I don't disagree. And the one thing I'll add in there, the game after Hampden is away to Motherwell.
Oh fuck! Well, that will beat there.
There's not a correct. There's not a. I mean, at the moment, there's not an easy game, right? There's not an easy game in the league at this moment in time. So you look at it, and I'm going to go as far to say that you play Rangers at Ibrox on Sunday. That's 3-0. It's got 3-0 written all over it. As far as I'm concerned. Yes, you're right. You might see Wednesday night. You might see a half decent performance under the lights at Tynecastle, but I genuinely don't see an actual victory coming from it. And part of me, and this is the worst thing as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how you feel about it, Ando. Part of me is actually like, I don't want to see us win. I want to see something happen that means a total change.
Yeah,
that's a change in the dugout, and that's a change at boardroom level.
Yeah, and see,
it requires that negative results, which pains probably every single one of us to say, to actually get to where we need to be.
Yeah, and
that's wrong.
I definitely agree with you on that one, because without mentioning any names, but one of the lads at work lives and works down south. He's a Millwall fan, and they've just very recently sacked Gary Rowett. Now, he, for ages and ages and ages, has been saying exactly the same thing. He goes through 3 or 4 or 5 games or whatever of absolute lunacy, mediocrity, absolute shambolic performances, and then he gets a result. And that's enough to buy him a little favour and buy a little time. And then the same thing happens. He says this inevitable cycle has been going on and on and on for ages. He said, it's wrong. You should never ever want your club to get beaten and beaten badly. But sometimes you have to think about the greater good, right? And yep. I don't know if we've now hit that, is it a tipping point or precipice or whatever, where it's a case of, you know what? Do we need people to start voting with their feet? Do we need people to, I don't want to say stop supporting, because that's a shit thing to say. But you're getting to the stage now where, do I care if we get scudded off Rangers twice and lose, I don't know, combination of 15 goals across those 2 games, draw or lose against Livy, get beat inevitably against Motherwell in the game after the semi. If that meant that there was a proper serious change happened, I'd take it, if I'm honest. And that's a horrible, horrible thing to have to say. And people will come after me for saying that, and fine, I don't care. But that's the way it is just now. You can't... Sum it up this way, right? You continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to get what you've always got. Simple as that.
Yep.
So...
Correct.
The only thing you have to do is now do something different. Sack the manager, done that a dozen times now. You're not making the right appointments. What you need to do is start making the right appointments. And in order to make the right appointments, you need the people in control to make those right appointments. And if the right people aren't there, then they need to be there. So get rid of the fucking people that are there just now. That's the change.
Yeah. Genuinely, there's a question to both of you. What do you think the aggregate score will be over the 2 games against Rangers?
3-0 Rangers. We'll give me 1-0 and 2-0 after my big rant. But I don't know. It depends.
To me, I can see it being 7-1.
Yeah. I think that's fairly achievable. Huh? Yeah.
I genuinely believe that it'll be 3-0 or 3-1 on Sunday at Ibrox, and then we'll go play them at Hampden on a bigger park. We will be all over the place because we can't keep a formation on our own park. So the chances of doing it on a bigger park, no chance. And that then says to me, right, that we will, over the 2 games, get scudded, aggregate score 7-1. And by the way, Pauk have just scored 2.
No, it's 2 each. I've seen that. But who cares about Aberdeen?
Correct.
It could be anything. We could turn up and just play super defensive, because that's usually what we do when we go to Glasgow. And so, but for that reason, it might shore it up a little bit. So it could be a couple of narrow defeats, and that would annoy me even more, because if someone comes out and says, "Oh, we just got narrowly beaten," we only lost by a goal and it was a mistake, it was a VAR decision or whatever, but otherwise we played well, then that's that same cycle we're just talking about with Millwall a minute ago. Then I'd love it to be a heavy defeat, and I feel so bad for saying that.
I agree with you, and it was exactly the same when we played at St Mirren the other week there, right? But I genuinely believe that was what would be said within the boardroom.
Mm-hmm.
Had it not been for that mistake in the first 10-15 minutes of the game in Paisley, we would have came away with there from a point, and that's the negativity, and that's the standards they're setting within the boardroom. If that's your standard within the boardroom, then from my point of view, the standards you then have in your training team, your management team, and on the park is lower than it's ever been.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. I'm genuinely at the stage now as well that I feel like apathy towards Naismith. Like, I don't hate the guy, and I don't have any doubt that but I feel sorry for him. Like, he was never. I know at the time there was a large majority of fans that wanted him in, but he was never ready to take that job. He shouldn't have been put in that position. And as much we all loved him as a player, he gets the club. He was not ready for that. No. You look at the B team now, and can I hold my hands up straight away and say I am by no means wanting Liam Fox in the job, but look at the way the B team are performing at the moment and compare that comparatively to last year. So I think they're sitting 3rd or 4th or something, and we were 13th or something last year. Like, it's night and day. And we spoke before the game. So under the Naismith tenure, 22 matches, 7 wins, was it?
I'm not sure.
Roughly that. I put that down. Competitively, yeah. 7 wins in 22 games. In terms of even Nielsen numbers, I think his last 22 games, we will have won more than 7 games, I would imagine. I don't know the facts to hand, but I think we're pretty safe to say that's the case. I'm just seeing David McClure's comment here, and I think on the YouTube, obviously, he said, here's an idea: hire a coach who can actually improve players and has a style of play, a coach who can come up with a game plan and tactics for each individual game we play. Is that too simplistic? And I genuinely think, I know we're saying what needs to change, but if we get that in place and we get an actual coach who has ideas, we'll be quick to forget the issues at board level. But
this comes.
I just think
it comes back to something that I've spoken about in previous weeks when Corbett's been here. So, and again, we might have spoken about it in the group chat and in the community chat or whatever. But we spend a lot of money on players. We spend a lot of money in investing off the park stuff. Hotel, restaurant, full shooting match. Oh, that's brilliant. And again, not to labour the point too much, everything we do off the park is amazing, brilliant. What we don't do is spend any money on getting the management infrastructure right. We haven't done it, right? It's all. I don't want to say it's the cheap option because obviously these guys get paid a wage anyway. But it's like it's always someone that knows the club, or we've got a soft spot, or we've got an attachment with them, or you know what, they've been around for ages. Let's just give them a job. No, get all that shite in the bin. Go and spend a bit of money on things. Spend a bit of money, get a decent manager with full autonomy, like what Stendhal should have been. Right? I know obviously Stendhal had his pros and his cons or whatever, but and Corbett's already spoken about the point, long running a few times, about how he wasn't allowed to bring his own entourage in, and had to make put up with Levine's guys that were still sort of scuttling around. That's what needs to happen. Get a decent manager in. But the thing is that the people that are empowered to make that decision won't make that decision. So we end up back at square one. And to Davy McClure's point, no, it's not too simplistic. That's absolutely the way every football club should be. Every football club should be aiming for. So it's not too simplistic. It is the way it should be done. But we don't have the people there that are willing to make that happen.
Exactly.
Agreed.
It's exactly that sentiment, Ando. That it's an absolute shambles, and you could go as far to say, and we've spoken about it here enough times, that we have not produced anything out of our academy that has merited money.
Fair.
Hickey, you could argue the point.
Oh, but you bought him from someone else.
Years. Correct. You brought him in from Celtic, so you've got that. If you bring in a top, I'm not saying even a top quality, but an actual qualified manager and coach, and have the right setup, everything in the background, you then also have the opportunity of actually coaching these young lads who clearly have potential. Clearly, with regards to where they sit in that league at this moment in time, there is potential in that group of guys. You then need to take them on to the next level. You need a manager and an actual proper team behind them to be able to give them that, and off the back of that, make money. But nobody, as you rightly say, that sit around that big boardroom table have got the balls big enough to call it out. They're all too busy going, thank you very much, there's my little bit of pocket money in my back pocket. They don't want to stop their money coming in. That's how it looks to me, as a guy who's been going to Tynecastle for 40 odd years. It looks like that again. That element of, you know what, I may be getting £100,000 out of this a year. I don't want to give up that £100,000 by maybe making the product on the park better, because that then impacts me in my pocket. I might not have that position. And that's how it comes to me anyway. And that, in all honesty, reeks.
Of what? Oh, it just reeks in general. Right, okay. I thought your EasyJet
well, Wi-Fi
broadband.
cut out.
Aye, exactly.
No, it just reeks, full stop, mate.
You know what Disney reek? And again, I know I shut it down earlier on, but Pauk, I've got a penalty in the 94th minute of the game against Aberdeen. So,
Great side, Pauk, as I said earlier, obviously.
Oh, aye, exactly. They absolutely trounced us, and rightly so. We were, and they've just scored as well, so well done. They brushed us aside like the toilet bugs that we were. Aye, you're right. Powerhouse of European football, Tam.
Yeah. Graham on the Twitter earlier actually asked if we do parts ways with Naismith, who would everyone like to bring in? I don't know if you want to give any thoughts on that, but ultimately it comes down to what we just said. Do a proper actual recruitment. Go for some names. We all work in a corporate environment. You get the best candidates in you can possibly get in to hire somebody. You interview them, see what they're about, look at their references, look at their CV. You do that. That's what we need to do. We don't just go in.
Yeah, you've been around here for ages. Have a job.
Aye.
Don't do it for sentimental reasons. One important thing to bring up. Excuse me. Corbetto Baggio. Spend money to make money.
Yep.
Never a truer word spoken. As the the other two baldy wanks next to him. Don't know what that means. Must be in reference to.
I'm assuming he says McAvoy and Forrest getting to fuck as well.
Okay, fair enough. That makes
agreed.
sense. And then Corbetto Baggio. Disagree, Kev. I don't think it's anything to do with that. It's just negligence when it comes to matters on the park.
Well, let's be honest, Corbett actually disagrees with everything that I say anyway. I could tell my day's Thursday, I'll still disagree and tell me it's Tuesday.
Kev, I think you need to grow up, man. It's like just because you lost a jacket once. And I'm only saying that because Corbett isn't here.
Sorry about that. I didn't lose it.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Pardon me.
Right. Anything else to add?
Yes, there is something to add. Corbetto Baggio saying, I missed, apologies mate, I missed his Naze is a football terrorist comment. So, yeah.
There's a show name.
Football terrorism, I like it. Aye. Aye.
Fair enough.
Right.
I don't know if you've got anything more to add. Are we going to do the predictions? Rangers.
I've done my predictions already. It will be. We're not going to win a game. In fact, who's the fifth game that we're going to be? Excuse me, that we're going to be playing. St Johnstone, and that'll be at home. Hopefully,
yes.
All right. Well, we might get a victory out of that. So it's going to be nothing but ironclad defeats until St Johnstone come to town.
Here I've got a prediction for you then. When do we make the change? I know we've said it, but I genuinely don't think we get till the semi-final.
Because
after the semi, I think change happens.
But what change are you talking about? Management level?
Management level.
No, I think it would take a defeat after the defeat to Motherwell, provided we haven't won against Livingston at home. If we get beaten by Motherwell away, then I think that's when you might see change. But
when's the international break?
It'll actually be after that Motherwell game. I'm just thinking about that.
Not sure.
To the international break?
No, like before. Yeah, that's the game. The weekend of the 19th is the 18th, 19th is the international break.
You got a hand in time.
So that
yeah,
of course, yeah.
That would put us in exactly the same situation and scenario as Rangers. So Rangers sacked Beale, had an international break, and brought in a manager. They didn't bother with an idea of we've got an option and a chance here to experiment. No, they brought in a proper manager.
Spent money to make money.
So from that point of view, we may, if we are fortunate enough or unfortunate enough to go that many games getting beat and not picking up points, to be in the same situation. But as we've already stated, we do not have a great deal of confidence in this board that would actually make the right decision to bring in the right manager. So
cool. Now, well, I'll give Corbett's predictions because he put them in the YouTube chat. So presumably Rangers 3, Hearts 1 will be this week's game. He's predicted Rangers 3-0 in the semi, Hearts 1, Livy 1. So that's the next three. So almost what you'd said, Kev, a 7-1 aggregate defeat against Rangers. And a draw against Livy. For me, I think on Sunday, just because of sheer tiredness, I think we'll get beat by a margin of 2 on Sunday. We will draw against Livy. I don't know why, bizarrely, I think it'll be a high-scoring game. So I say high-scoring, going for 2-2. And the semi-final against Rangers will be a 4 or a 5-0 job. Easy.
I think we'll win all three and everyone will be rosy.
Shut up, Tom.
I'm kidding, man. No chance. 3 or 4 at the weekend. I'll leave it till next week to predict semi. To be honest, we've got a podcast in between then.
Why? What do you think's going to happen?
Sure. I did pigs will fly or something. I don't know. There you go.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Kev, you've gave yours as well. Any bad? We all good?
Nothing at all, mate.
Corbett's back next week, Tuesday, so we might do one more pod maybe. He'll be back for after the semi, I'm sure. Yeah, excellent. Thanks for tonight, boys. It's been brilliant.
It's not been brilliant. It's been anything but. Although I do feel like feel like it's a therapy session. I feel like a weight has been lifted. Like I've been bottling this up for the last week, and I've had a wee bit of a chance to rant. So thanks. I feel a lot better.
I'd kind of forgot about it since it's Thursday now. I just kind of tried to forget.
Nah, I've had the lurgy. I've been feeling unwell and miserable, and this is just one thing. I've ticked the box. I don't feel bad about Hearts anymore. I'm still raging, but I feel better now that I've had a chance to talk about it. So thank you.
Yeah. Right. Thanks to everyone on the YouTube comments as well. And
as always,
everyone else for joining us. I will speak to you shortly. See you soon.
Catch you after.
Cheers, folks.
Shit.
Are you going to say it or you know? Because we're still recording. You've got a chance to say it now, Tim. Go.
You just said.
No, you did it.
I can't. I'm not as good as Corbett. Go.